The median American household is falling drastically behind on standardized retirement goals. When we look at the data, the numbers don't match the recommendations we've been handed. This table shows the reality of the situation. Look at households led by someone in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Federal Reserve data shows the median net worth for households aged 35 to 44 is $135,000, but the recommended benchmark requires having 3 times your annual salary saved by 40. There is a massive deficit between where people are and where the math says they need to be. Because these benchmarks reflect the cumulative effect of your previous financial decisions, failing to meet them identifies a specific historical deficit in your accumulation strategy. It acts as a diagnostic tool, showing the exact amount of extra effort required to reach parity with your long-term goals. Reaching financial independence requires a ruthless trade-off. You balance the heavy draw of immediate consumption against the slow, silent growth of compounding capital over decades. Generic rules like save 10% miss the mark because your leverage changes as you get older. The specific compromises you must make in your 20s are completely different from the strategic defensive moves required in your 50s. To see how this works, we will break down the precise mathematical and behavioral trade-offs required at every single life stage. Closing this wealth gap requires ignoring speculative, high-yield trends. It means auditing your current age bracket and deploying the precise strategy required for that specific decade. Your 20s and 30s are the accumulation phase. Your highest leverage asset is a long time horizon. Your goal is getting capital flowing into the system, starting with the employer 401k match. This provides an immediate 100% return, a rate unmatched in finance. The trade-off is painful. You have to sacrifice liquid cash you'd rather use for housing, travel, or social experiences, right during the lowest earning decade of your career. By the time you reach your 30s, the benchmarks get strict. The math dictates you should have an amount equal to your annual salary saved by age 30 and 3 times your salary by age 40. The absolute biggest threat to hitting these targets is lifestyle inflation. As your income increases, it's incredibly easy to let your luxury spending increase in perfect tandem. When your lifestyle grows at that exact same rate, your savings rate stalls out, completely neutralizing your wealth gains. You have to intentionally cap your spending increases. As your salary grows, keeping your expenses flat is what physically widens the gap between your income and your liabilities. Success in the accumulation phase requires consciously ignoring your peers when they start financing sports cars. You are trading that immediate upgrade for a permanent, decades-long compounding baseline. By your 40s, the outcome of early financial habits is clearly visible on your balance sheet. With roughly half of your earning years behind you, any structural inefficiencies in your portfolio now have the power to derail your retirement. Because your balance is larger, your objective shifts from basic accumulation to the optimization phase. Your wealth must be protected from structural friction. This chart tracks the threat of investment fees on a $500,000 portfolio over 20 years. Line A shows a 1% fee. Line B represents a 0.03% index fund. Over time, that's thousands of dollars bled out to pay for active management. The trade-off you must make is abandoning the psychological comfort of an expert-managed fund. You have to switch to a passive, low-cost, market-average approach to keep your own capital. The second major threat in your 40s is the temptation to borrow from retirement for emergencies. Early withdrawals are severely taxed and penalized, destroying your compound growth. A separate cash emergency fund acts as a vital barrier. It absorbs the impact of sudden life events, protecting your compounding retirement accounts. The 40s are about optimization. You are recapturing capital by eliminating expense ratios and tying up cash in emergency funds to protect your compounding baseline. If you are behind on your benchmarks, your 50s and 60s represent the final catch-up phase. This is your absolute last opportunity to leverage your peak career earnings before leaving the workforce. To bridge these late-stage deficits, there are specific governmental tax shelters immediately available to you. The IRS sets higher contribution limits for those 50 and older, increasing 401k capacity to $32,500. Additionally, the Secure 2.0 Act provides for super catch-up limits for those aged 60 to 63, allowing for more than $35,000 in annual tax-advantaged contributions. The trade-off here is strict. You have to take the highest discretionary income of your life, funnel it aggressively away from present consumption, and lock it tight inside these retirement accounts. Then comes the critical dilemma of your 60s, the mathematics of when to claim Social Security. This was designed to supplement, not replace, your personal savings. Claiming early at 62 forces a permanent 30% reduction in benefits. Delaying until 70 offers a guaranteed 8% annual return. However, delaying forces total reliance on your personal portfolio or requires you to continue working to survive until the break-even point. For those falling short of the target by their 60s, a standard savings rate isn't sufficient. Closing the gap requires utilizing every high-limit intervention to protect your standard of living in retirement. When Americans miss these age-based benchmarks, it almost always traces back to 6 specific wealth killers: high fees, high interest debt, lifestyle inflation, procrastination, unexpected life events, and actual economic inflation. That last one is a stealth tax. If your money is not earning anything, sitting in cash guarantees a steady loss of purchasing power. It is a melting ice cube that slowly strips away your accumulated wealth over time. This diagram shows the wealth preservation audit. It boils decades of complex strategy down into 4 actionable binary questions. If you are in your 20s or 30s, your absolute priority is time in the market. You must maximize your 401k match and keep your savings rate above your lifestyle inflation. This demands living a simpler lifestyle today to secure compounding tomorrow. If you are in your 40s, 50s, or 60s, your highest return on investment doesn't come from picking the perfect stock. It comes from plugging structural leaks, eliminating consumer debt, keeping expense ratios below 0.2%,